Hi and welcome to this Fusion 360 tutorial. Today we're going to look at how to design a USB stick in Fusion 360 using the sculpting tools. If you like a copy of the final model, then please check the link in the description below. And what we'll do now is jump into Fusion and have a go. Another way of creating a design in Fusion for your USB memory stick is to use the create form. So I'm going to click on that. And what it'll do is we'll just turn your circuit, your PCB, translucent. Okay, so it's inactive. But what we're going to do is design around this. So if we come up to create, we've got a series of different shapes that we could start with. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to start with a simple box. I'm going to choose the plane that I want to sketch on, which is this one down here. I'm going to go up to the top view and I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to drag a box. So when I drag this, it needs to be bigger than the actual size of the PCB. So I'm just going to drag this up here. I could type in, use tab to type in exact sizes, but I'm going to go like this because I'm going to distort it later. And I'm going to left click once and I'm going to come up to this house to home my view. So you can see this is quite big now. We don't really need it to be this big. We can jot that down. We don't want to obviously go too thin, right? So we want that to be nice and thin. And we want symmetry on, so symmetrical. So again, if you see the circuit board there, we don't want it to be too thin, but at the same time, we don't want it to be really fat. So I'm going to go for around about 12 millimeters. Again, click on the home. These two options here, or these sliders, allow you to add extra control areas, like so. Now the problem is the more you add, yes, the more you got control, but you will be affecting a smaller area. You can select more than one face or edge or point or combination of those, but I would always suggest that you start off with quite a low number. And also for symmetry, if you're going to add symmetry to this, which will allow you to basically make modifications on one side and the opposite side will change at the same time, it's always easier to use an even number, like so. The faces going up will be how many you want to add to here, but again, we don't want to add too many, so I'm just going to go to 2. So 4 by 4 by 2 is a good start. We can always add some extras later if we need to. And again, it does give you the option here of symmetry, and you can add symmetry here if you want to start with. So if I add it here in terms of length and width, it's going to affect 4 different areas. But to start with, I'm just going to take that off and show you how you could do this on an individual sort of sides, and then we'll add symmetry afterwards. It's the easiest way. So at the moment, I've got this lump of basically square clay, I suppose. And any of these faces, edges, or points, or combination, all right, so if you hold Control, if you use a PC, can be selected. And once you've selected these, if you right-click and edit, or go up to Modify, Edit Form, any of these faces can be selected. And like I said, you can select more than one at once by holding Control. It's the easiest way of doing it, is to go around and you can select more than one like that. And then you've got a few options. So all these icons or symbols or whatever you want to call it on there will allow you to distort this. So here I'm just dragging this and pulling it out in a linear direction, so towards me, or pushing it away. But at the moment, it's only affecting this side of the design, like so. And you can see there I've gone far. One, it's intersecting, which means it would be impossible to make. All right, and also it's getting too close to the circuit board. We don't want the circuit board sticking out. So again, there you go. So you got that one there. Okay, so I just click undo a couple of times and go back to the beginning. So that's moving it sort of in a linear direction that way. You can do it in a linear direction by going up and down. And again, if you wanted to drag it forward, you could do that. The planar options, so these squares, allows you to control it in a plane. And depending on which plane or which square you select, it will then move. So if I zoom in, I may have to change my angle here a little bit. There we go, so I've got access to that one again. I can change it like so. You've got rotate, so you can rotate it this way, so to twist it in that direction. So if you want to create a really cool organic design, twisted design, you can do it like that. And again, you've got this one here. You could just drag it, you could type in a certain angle, and the same with any of these, you could type in a certain distance or angle. And I've got this one here to rotate well that way. All right, so I'm just going to reset those. Any of these lines, okay, will allow you to sort of stretch it as well. And again, once you've done a bit of editing, so if I go up here, move that up, I can deselect it, I can select some more, and I can go around and adjust these to really distort the shape and create a design. I'm just going to click undo a few times, click escape, and like I said at the beginning, I want this design to be symmetrical. So I want whatever I affect, say on this side here, affects the other side. So I'm going to go to symmetry, mirror symmetry, select two faces like that, and I'll add a line going down the middle because I want basically to control that. If I did this, it would add symmetry down that way, so that angle. So basically what I'm doing on the front will affect the back. But I want to be able to go and affect basically whatever's on the left hand side affects the right hand side, for example. And I can always remove this symmetry later. Just going to hide these origins a little bit, and then I'm going to start to shape and distort this. So I'm going to come along here and I'm going to select these faces. I'm going to make sure I select the one underneath, and I may select these ones as well. And you can see it's turning yellow on the other side because it's affecting that side. I'm going to right click and edit, and I'm controlling all these now, and I'm going to just push that in like so. Might twist it slightly, see what that looks like. So it's creating sort of like a fin, if you imagine the end of a fish or something like that. That's quite cool. And if you use your cube, you can see what it looks like from various angles. Because one way it may look correct, you might think, yeah, that's a really good design. But as soon as you change your angle, you may have deformed it, okay, past the point you want. And again, I've got this one where I can sort of shrink in a little bit. But you can see that's going to start going into my circuit board. So I don't want to shrink that too much. And again, I can mess around by this, like distorting it and moving it around until I get my shape. The other thing to bear in mind is that it's still looking quite thick in terms of that there. So I could draw a box around the top like this. Let's see what I've selected. I might never go like that. I could then drag this just to squeeze it down a little bit. Use one of these just to flatten out that sort of top, like so. And I could do the same at the bottom. Just make sure I've selected it all by dragging it. Yes, I have. And again, I could move that up slightly, but then I might just shrink it in like that. Just flattening it out a little bit. Right, so there's lots of, if you don't want to go too crazy like this, okay, and I come to the top, I can deselect that. Now this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to start controlling these here, holding control, and over those there. I might do this entire front end, I think. So this takes quite a lot of work in terms of just creating sort of different angles, different shapes by pulling, twisting, rotating any edges, faces, or points. So you can spend quite a significant amount of time on this. But I don't want this obviously video to be very, very long. So I'm just going to bring this in. And I can see I don't want it to go too far, and I'm just going to go like that. And I might bend it maybe slightly, maybe not that angle actually. What about this one there? So it bends out. Don't want to do that because it'll intersect itself. Whoop. Again, you're going to be careful with your angles and stuff. How much you twist, that's a bit weird. Okay. So I've got this shape here. And again, you could grab any of these faces and change any of them to create the design that you want. So I'm just going to click on do a bit on that one. Oops, maybe put that one back. Yeah, to smaller. Okay. Spend hours doing this, like I said. The other thing you can do is if you hold Alt and select a face, that will add material to your actual design. Now that's looking a bit weird, and when you're doing any of this, you've got to think of a number of things. You're going to think of ergonomics, so how sort of easy it's going to be to hold and to use. You've also got to think about what it looks like, aesthetics, and you've also got to think about how you're going to manufacture this as well. So now, if we're going to 3D print these, that will probably still work in terms of making it, but aesthetically it looks just a little bit weird, doesn't it? Well, let's try something on this face using Alt. Okay, I could do that. There you go. So I could add some sort of like wing designs on here, you see, and then I could distort it by pulling it up like so. What if I go back one without Alt again? I could add something on here like that. But it's looking a bit like some sort of animal, sea creature or something, isn't it? Randomly. Now, the other thing you've got to be careful of is when you do design like this, is you don't want some of these edges to be really thin, as you can see on here. So I'm going to select that one there. I'm going to pull this out slightly. All right. So there you go. I've got this sort of weird and wonderful design like so. All right. So within reason, you can sort of create what you want, but you just got to be careful, like I said before, for those reasons. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click Finish. Now, if a warning comes up when you've clicked Finish, what you'll have to do is you'll have to go back into here. So right click on the feature and then a left click on Edit, and you'll have to come back, and there'll probably be an intersecting face. So I don't know, let's have a look around here. So you may have on these points here two faces sort of crossing, all right, or you may have a face under here. It all depends on your design, how you distorted it. So if a warning does come up, it will usually highlight where it is, and then like I say, you have to edit and go back in. So I've got this weird design there. Okay, I'm just going to come in here, and you can see the circuit boards on the inside of there like that. All right. So what I'm going to do for this one is we're going to go to Combine. The target body is the body I've created. The tool is the USB. I want it to cut, so remove it to create like a cavity for it to sit in. I want to keep the tools, so that means keep the actual USB. I don't want it to disappear, and click OK. And what that's done is created, I go to section and just choose a plane. It's actually subtracted from the middle of there. It's not bad looking for you, but it might be easier to show you a different section maybe there like that. So it's actually subtracted it away from it. And like I've done in the other video, what we really need to do now is I'm going to create a sketch on this plane here. I'm going to hover over here to see where this is. And what I'm going to do is use this edge here, press P, so press P for project. I'm going to project that edge. So I've got that edge there now. Turn that back on. And you can see that I've got that little edge in place. Click the green tick. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to split this. So one of the best ways, or the easiest way to do, is to turn these into components. And that will just make the process a little bit easier, and any editing I'm going to do later easier. So I've got a component now of the body and a component of the USB. And now I've got this line which I can use. So if I go to split body, so that's here or here. The body I want to split is this body. The tool is that line I've just sort of traced or projected. Okay, I do want it to extend because I want it to cut right through here. Sometimes if you untick it, if you've only got a short line, it will only split it by that. So it's not technically splitting the body fully. So that is extending. The only problem you may have with that is if your design, say these wings or whatever I had here, if they went past that line, then it would split right through the wings as well. And in that case, I'd actually have to use that line and then draw a line over it like that. But for this design, it doesn't matter. Click OK. And in here now, if I open this, bodies, I've now got the main body and I've got a cap. There you go. So you've got this weird looking USB design. So we could leave it like that, and we could take the USB. So once we've 3D printed this, we could take the USB and we could add a little bit of adhesive on it, and we could slide that in, push it inside the main body, let that set in place, and it would be fine. And of course, we'd 3D print the cap or the lid or the head or whatever you want to call it separately, and that can push on and we've got a design. However, that's not creating a design that could be easy to take apart. So you want a design that's easy to take apart, so it could be repaired, it could then, the components could be separated for recycling, and it's just better in terms of doing that for the environment. So we're going to split this body. Now, if you had a design that's quite simple, this would be a very simple thing to do. Okay, because if it's sort of rectangular, I could split it in half and there's no problem. So what's going to make us a problem are these little wings. So we will see. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to split this body and I'm going to draw the split on, I could draw it the side of front. So I'm going to use this sort of front plane, and I'm going to use this edge here. And click project, and I'm going to click print it. Now, what I want to do is if I activate, so at the moment everything's activated in terms of these components. So if I want to activate this one, I'm only now going to edit this body, so I'm not going to split anything else. So if we go body to split, tools, select that line. Again, if I don't have that ticked, it will just use that sketch and go right through. It will extend it right through the design. And if I look from the front, oops, click the front. I'm sort of just about getting away with this, because you'll see what I've got now is a bottom section here. It's all connected. I was just afraid that maybe, depending where I split it, these little wings, whatever, would be a separate part, but it's worked out. I've now got this design, so what I could do is when I 3D print this, I could drop this circuit board in place and then put the lid on and the top on, like so, and I've got this design. Now I'm just going to hide this. So I could just put the top on, 3D print them in separate parts, put the top on, glue it in place, happy days. But again, it's not designed so I can take it apart. And there's lots of different ways of doing this. I'm just going to show you a simple way. All right. I'm going to click on this surface, go to sketch, and just get this in the middle so I can see what's happening. Here we go. I'm going to use the C for circle, or click circle at the top, and I'm going to put around about here. I'm going to go say 2.5 millimeters. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to put one at the back here. So depending on your design, you may have a different number of these. And this is going to be essentially like some of the pins and holes. So I've drawn 3 on there. I'm just going to use the line tool and go up to, so I pressed L for line, I'll go up to line, go up to mirror, objects to mirror. So that one, that one, that one. Now you only need to do this if you've got a mirrored design, so it's the same on the left and the right. If this design or side is slightly different, then obviously the position of these might be different. But I'm going to use the mirror tool like that. So I've selected the object, select the line, which is that line, and click OK. And I've got these in position now. So if I end up going, actually I want that bit further up, the other one on the other side will move. All right, and if I change the size of the holes, those will change. I'm going to go to the home. I'm going to click extrude, E for extrude. Go along here, click on these. Zoom in and out with a mouse wheel. Drag these up. Go say 2.5 again. And then click OK. What we're going to add is you can add a fillet or a chamfer. I'm going to add a chamfer this time. Select these edges here. And this chamfer is going to be really small. So 0.5. Yep. And maybe 0.25 actually. The reason I'm adding a little chamfer or a fillet is when these pins go into the other body, it will just allow there to be a little gap and it'll just allow them to separate a little bit easier. And again, this is all because we're designing something from scratch. This is a little bit of experiment. Okay, it could work, depending on your design. It couldn't, so therefore, what you do is 3D print it. You try it, doesn't work. You come back to your model, you make some changes, and you print it again, and you develop your idea. Now, what I've got now is I've got this bottom bit, and what I want to do is now subtract these pins from the top. Now, I could see I've already got a problem because of my geometry. Look, my shape is sticking out a little bit. I don't want it to do that. So this is where, if you're creating a complex design, is where you're going to have to go back and make changes. So we're going to go 2 millimeters, like that. Let's have a look, turn that one back on. So it looks all right at the moment. Okay. We're going to go up to combine this time. Target body. So I've just drawn them on the bottom. So the target body is the top. Tool is the bottom. I'm going to cut and I want to keep the tool because I don't want the bottom to disappear. And what that has done, if I spin this around, is created those locating pins in that part of the body or the design. And if I turn that back one on, okay, or the bottom one on, they will then locate. So it'll push on and locate and basically reduce any reason for using any glues because it will be a push fit. Now, if I teach you, say, in year 11, 12, or 13, I'll probably show you some other different techniques to do that, but that is a simple technique to use at the moment. So as you can see, I've now got this very weird, very organically shaped USB pen drive. So that's how you could use the sculpting tool to create a very unique design. Before we export the lid for manufacturing, I've noticed we've got a little bit of an issue. When we subtracted the USB circuit Okay, so if I just hide these and turn on the USB circuit, when we subtracted this, it didn't only subtract just this shape here for the circuit and the outside of the head, it actually subtracted this bit inside here. Okay, and what that's left is, if we look at the lid, and we turn that lid on, okay, and what we got here now, so I'm just going to hide a few things like the top of the body and stuff like that. You can see here, there we go. So it's created this weird floating body which we need to delete. So easiest way is to create a sketch on his face, and we're going to create, okay, I'm going to press P, and I'm going to trace these edges here for now by left clicking. I know there's a little gap there, but click OK. Use a rectangle tool just to create a full box around there. I'm going to go E for extrude, select that, and a little bit there. And I'm going to change the angle so I can see into the back of that lid. I've got one-sided, which is fine. And I want to go up to Object, and I want to select the back plane like that. I'm going to go Cut and click OK. What that's done is that it's now cleared out that random floating body, which means when we put all this back together and turn it all back on, we have now got a perfect design ready for manufacturing. So that is one little thing that you do need to check out before you export any of the files for 3D printing. Thanks for watching, and if you found this content helpful, please click like and subscribe, and also check out any other resources and videos created using the links in the description. I'll see you on the next one.